Isn't it true that if I believe in Jesus, I'm already saved? I think putting too much emphasis on obedience sounds a bit legalistic. Sure, living an obedient life would be great, but obedience isn't really tied to salvation, right? I'm satisfied just knowing that I'm saved. I don't want the burden of having to do more in my faith life. Many believers think this way. However, such thinking does not show what true faith is. Through the gospel, what God has given us is not merely the grace of redemption. Regardless of how great or small our abilities are, He has called each of us and sent us to do His work. Having received both conversion and vocation through the gospel, we must have a faith that obeys, the obedience that comes from faith. Those who have truly received the grace of redemption will never regard obedience as a mere option. We often say that someone has been saved, but in other words, it means to lead them to believe and obey. This obedience of faith has been passed down through the apostles, through Paul, and through countless believers. And finally, it has been delivered to us through the overseer of the church. Now, we too have the responsibility to pass on this obedience of faith to the next generation. Unfortunately, many Christians have received a distorted and corrupted gospel, and they, in turn, are preaching the same. The gospel they preach takes the sweetness, but throws away the responsibility that comes with it. Their lives say, "I have received grace, but I won't follow." They talk about obedience persuasively, yet their lives are stained with disobedience. This is because they were never truly redeemed in the first place. Anyone can talk about faith, but unless it is proven through one's life, it remains nothing more than a theory. In the truest sense, being saved is equal to having obedience to the faith. But why should we obey? Because the one who gives grace is the Lord who rules over all things. To be redeemed is to enter into a relationship of obedience to Him. Yet some say, "I only obey the Lord. Don't tell me to obey the shepherd." But this is a contradiction in itself. The Lord commanded, "Teach them to observe all things that I commanded you, and feed my sheep." And the Holy Spirit has made the overseer to shepherd the flock. You say you are guided by the Lord, yet you ignore the order of the church and reject the guidance of the overseer? In the end, such a person simply follows their own thoughts and feelings. Having received the grace of redemption, we are those who are called through the obedience of faith. Though we were completely unworthy, we have been rescued from the dominion and punishment of sin. Now, belonging to Jesus, we are under His protection and care, and have become new creations by receiving His life. Therefore, instead of exalting ourselves, we must humble ourselves completely and become a new class of people in character. Even though we have received grace, the nature of a sinner does not disappear overnight. Thus, we must obey all the more in humility. If we truly acknowledge that the gospel we have received is the perfect gospel, let us prove it through the obedience of faith. And let us fulfill the ministry of the church to lead others into obedience to the faith.